guys, welcome to Flory Models Daily Show. Here we are on the 1st of December 2016 and it's December. So what's that mean? Star Wars month for me. As I said, I love my sci-fi and all the rest of it. So what I tend to do is sort of indulge myself somewhat in December by doing everything Star Wars. Now this started last year with obviously The Force Awakens. We had lots of new stuff from it. It was very exciting times here in the modelling community because we had like Bandai really jumping on board with it and things like that. And it was really sort of a big sort of resurgence into sort of sci-fi modelling as a whole. And that's carried through really well this year. We've had some fantastic releases. And now the other manufacturers are starting to come on board with it as well. And we've got some big updates coming hopefully this year, 2017. So in some ways it's quite an exciting time to be in the hobby. So from my point of view, we are working on this guy, and I'm going to see this a little bit later, where we basically just put it together. So for, you know, if you get it as a Christmas present and all the rest of it, and the kit looks something like this, you will have a little bit of a reference to follow to make this guy. Now, we've spoken about it a lot over the last few weeks. You've seen it in the background. I worked on this really last month. It's overpriced. It's 60 quid. The plastic is terrible to the point where I don't think I've seen plastic this bad in a model kit in at least the last 10 years. Really, I did speak to Revel about it. It's outsourced, it's not their kit. They've got it from another source. Now, they wouldn't tell me where they got it from and all the rest of it, but it technically isn't a Revel kit. It is from a third-party developer who's manufactured the kit, and then what they've done is just bag it up and put it in their box. Unfortunately, though, it's the only sort of kit in town. Now, if you wanted to do this in this type of scale, which is roughly 1 to 350, it's 1/53rd, which seems to be their sort of go-to scale, you know, there is no real other options. There was some other stuff. I think AMT did a kit back in the day and things like that, but really this is the only mainstream one out there. Now, we are looking forward because, let's face it, we have got the Dragon have organised or are releasing a 1 to 35th scale. My only problem to that is this is probably about as big as you're going to want to go with an ATAT. 1 to 350 means it's going to be another sort of third bigger than this thing, so it's going to be a monster. Now, don't get me wrong, for you guys who love it as much as I do, you will go out and buy it and all the rest of it, but I'm thinking practicalities here. The kit itself is going to be far, far too big. Anyway, this month what I'm going to do is hopefully pick up these types of kits, put them together simply, just to show, you know, obviously, you know, the non-modelers out there how easy it is to put these things together. It's a good way of getting the kids into this, okay? Then what I'm going to show you, like we're doing today, is part 2 of it, where we're going to upgrade it. So we're going to do some simple upgrades. Now, I'm not thinking of stuff that's going to take months on end and a super build type of scenario, things like that, but something where you could spend a day upgrading it, making it look a little bit better, so when it does go into paint, everything's going to pop. Okay, so from this point of view, what we're looking at this one and doing about it is really things like taking care of the seam lines, and underneath here it was particularly horrible, and we've done it. To be honest, this has had a coat of primer just to sort of knock it back, just to see what we've got going on, but we have taken care. We've done a little bit of filler work on the top and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you really in part 2 of this a simple way of getting rid of all those problem areas, i.e. plasticard, sheet plasticard, cover the areas up completely, everything else like that, and you should end up with something pretty much spot on and make our way through. And to be honest, I'm going to change a few of the nuts and bolts with this particular one just to give it a little bit more authenticity and everything else. And I have got 2 of these kits, and I tend to come back to this kit at a later date as somewhat as a super build where I'm really going to go to town with it. So I'm actually going to go into the whole hog of actually super detailing one of these up. Maybe using the Dragon one if it's available, but if not, coming back to this particular kit, maybe LED lighting in it and things like that. So really it is going to be fun times. But over the next few weeks to the run up to Christmas, which is really only sort of 3 weeks time really, we're going to be working on a lot of these snap type stuff, a lot of the Bandai stuff and things like that. So we're going to be doing everything from simple construction right the way through to some complex weathering and everything in between, because obviously we've got Boba Fett on the go. He needs to be painted yet. Slave 1 needs to be painted and weathered because they are built ready to go, and everything else like that. So as I said, hopefully you guys are going to join me. We'll have a lot of fun and as I say, see some different techniques. And as I said, if you're not into sort of Star Wars and sci-fi and all the rest of it, hold your horses, because you might actually pick up a few little things about chipping and weathering. So to be honest, all the stuff we did on this container we're going to be doing on this type of thing as well. So, you know, from that point of view, it might be able to pick up some things that you can take onto your armour guys, for the aircraft guys, figure painting guys and everything else like that. So hopefully over the next few weeks you can sort of join us for stuff like that. So what I'm going to do today is really push on with this one. I'm going to get it plated up. We're going to use plasticard just for speed, take care of any annoying gaps and joints and stuff like that, and then that way we'll have something looking pretty well armoured. I'm going to change a few of the lumps and bolts on the legs to give them a little bit more definition. One little thing off the bat is that you look at the box art. I'll show you this properly when we do the actual full video of this, but it's got a huge great sink marks on it. Actually the kit isn't as bad as the box. That's the weird thing. Normally it's the other way around, but the box art is terrible. It shows like big sink marks. Haven't found any sink marks on this particular kit. Anyway, it is going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully you're going to join me over the next couple of weeks as we make our way through this. Okay, and there we go. So this afternoon I have really been piling into this, as you can see, ripping the hell out of it and replacing all the surface detail and everything else like that. This is where, I'll be honest with you, I'm in my element. I love to be able to take sci-fi, rip the hell out of it, and then turn it into something a little bit nicer, shall we say, and a little bit refined. And apart from this kit, because let's face it, it's 60 quid, rip off. Okay, but I have got other kits over there which cost a quarter of what this cost, and we can do exactly the same thing to it. So by the end of it, you should have a really nice piece that's dirt cheap, and you can have a lot of fun doing with it. And to be honest, all the techniques I'm using on this one, pretty much anyone can do. It's not exactly rocket science. What we're really doing with this one is coming in, taking off all the surface detail, because a lot of it should be recessed and it's raised, just the age of the kit, and everything else like that. So what we're doing is we're taking all of those out, we're replacing all the raised riveting with recessed riveting, and we're basically, all the details we're upgrading. So when we're saying upgrading, we're going in there and actually replacing what are mediocre at best mouldings with a far more accurate, crisp ones. And as you'll see on this one, I have managed to get from a good friend of mine reference photos of one of the originals, and he's done a cracking job of going right the way around it, and I'm looking at it now. And the thing is, and then if anybody of you guys have been to see shows and stuff like that, you see the originals of these, they really are nasty. They are not exactly what you think. You look at them on screen and they look very polished and these fantastic models that they're using. Actually, that thing's terrible. The weathering on it is awful. The paint job is mediocre at best and all the rest of it. But because it's done for sort of, you know, film work and that type of studio lighting and setting, they have to exaggerate certain things and everything else like it. But it's amazing that looking at some of the details on that, they are not as detailed as some of the more modern kits that have come out, where they've been upgraded and done, because they are what they are. They are built up of other models. As everyone knows, this bit down the bottom here is a couple of Pegasus engines from a Harrier, and if I believe correctly, these are from the 1/24th scale Harriers were used originally and redone with it. The legs are a bit different. They were sort of custom made and made of metal and all the rest of it, but a lot of the body parts on this and everything else, as we all know, is made up from kit bashing, i.e. taking parts from other models and using them on this one. But hopefully this will be just a couple of days. As I say, I'm not going to spend forever working on these things. These aren't going to be huge great builds where I'm going to be spending months scratch building and detailing coming through. These are supposed to be 1 or 2 day fun builds, everything else like that. So say today I'm going to rip off all the detail and replace it all, and then hopefully we'll be able to do the legs, and then we'll get it together, paint, weather, and it'll literally be done, and we'll be moving on with other models as we make on. Because we're doing this one today, this is up. So this is the full build of this. Let's face it, doesn't take long, admittedly. It's 40 minutes to put this kit together, and it's literally in real time as well. And you'll end up without the box. Yes, it's 60 quid. Yes, it's horrible plastic. I keep saying it. I can't say irritate enough, but it's not nice at all. That said, it's a great kit for doing what we're doing it to. It's just a shame it's so expensive. A couple of little noteworthy things. The sink marks and some of the details on this are worse than what's actually on the real kit, because the feet things, for instance, it shows huge great sink marks in the plastic. Nope, we don't have those at all. They're actually very nicely done. A couple of other little details on it. It's like, that's a lot worse than actually what this is. So it's strange that normally the box art representation is usually better than what you get. This is the other way around. So don't take too much notice down there and everything else like that. But as I said, it's supposed to be a little bit of fun. Hopefully you're going to enjoy it, and hopefully you can learn a few things about scratch building and everything else like that. If you are joining along with the actual SIG build, please feel free. You can enter anything you like Star Wars related into this one. It's literally a free-for-all. It's supposed to be a little bit of fun and everything else like that. But I'm literally just going to spend tomorrow on this one, maybe a bit of time over the weekend, and it will be done. And then obviously be moving on to some of the others. Some of the other kits we're definitely going to be tackling is obviously the Star Destroyer, the Rogue One Star Destroyer. We're going to have the proper review of that one coming up and everything else like that with you in a couple of days. And then obviously we've got the Tidarium shuttle over there. We've got various other things. We've got the U-Wing as well we want to work on, as well as we've got the usual Bandai stuff. And to be honest, I have got some more Bandai stuff coming. Blame Adam. Me and Adam did a bit of a shopping spree and spent 400 quid on various parts from Bandai as well, which are coming over, including the very nice, the big 1/6 scale Stormtrooper. Again, it's Bandai quality, but it's 1/6, so this thing's a foot tall. It's 30 centimeters tall. So we're really looking forward to that one. But it is getting near Christmas. So Christmas decks, we're going to get them up at the weekend. But as it's something a little bit different, some people have chocolates, some people have makeup, other people, like me, get the Star Wars minifig one. So today we are in number 1. Got to try and get in here. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's quite cool. Look, and we have to build it as well. No one mentioned I have to build these things. And I'm looking at the colours and it looks like something from Boba Fett's Slave 1 and all the rest of it. But what I'll do is I'll pop him together because where's the instructions for it? Do you get instructions as well? I'm sure you do, I haven't looked in here. But what we're going to do over the next few weeks, we'll be having our Christmas nativity scene courtesy of Lego Star Wars. So yes, I am literally that big a kid and everything else like that. So there we go, that's about it for today. As I said, going to work on this one tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to have a good look around the forum. We're going to catch up with everything that's been going on there. If you have, please make sure you got your photos and everything up for the actual last weekend's group build, for the actual turkey shoot, because obviously on Saturday I'm probably going to spend a couple of hours Saturday at some point sitting down and putting the video montage together. Hopefully tomorrow as well I'll finish off the actual one for the Best of British SIG and everything else like that. So we're going to have that video maybe up with you tomorrow as well. So there we go, that's it from me. Go off and have a look at this. As I said, it's great, it's fun, and let's face it, that's what the hobby should be at the end of the day. Right, that's it from me. Happy modelling, take care, catch you all tomorrow.